3, 2, 1, action.
In free education news, submitted by Fuego Fire, Bernie Sanders wants to cancel $1.6 trillion in student loan debt.
What is this?
You're against this?
Didn't Elizabeth say this first?
Elizabeth Warren?
Warren's was Bernie basically outdid her by saying everybody.
Elizabeth is, if it's over $250K, then you don't need it. For him, he's like everybody.
Yeah. For hers, it's like for poor people and people that might need the help.
So he's trying to appeal to the wealthy as well.
So Bernie Sanders proposed a plan on Monday to cancel $1.6 trillion in student loans and pay for it with a tax on Wall Street, elevating the issue. Obviously, everyone knows about this issue.
Obviously not. I avoid politics, so what's happening?
Well, no, but you know that everyone, like, student loan debt is like insane right now.
Yeah, I do know that.
And that it's like bending the backs of all these poor college kids, and they feel very fucked.
There's so many people that come out of college and then like 10 years into their career, they're still paying their student loans. And it's one of those, like, even if you file bankruptcy,
It compounds.
yeah, it clears every other loan except for student loans, and it continues with you.
Right now, the average student debt is about $40,000 nationwide.
Oh my God, wow.
And people are saying that that's where the next crash is going to happen. So before it was real estate.
That's the bubble?
Right now it's student loans.
What would happen?
Well, if people start not paying their student loans because they don't have jobs that can pay for that, then that's where the crash is going to happen. Is if the loans don't get paid, then the banks don't have the money. And
Do you think Bernie Sanders doing this would like prevent that?
I think Bernie is just saying stuff to get elected.
Woo!
Yeah.
You felt that?
I felt it.
Well, because I mean, it's a game, right? Like, can you really pull it off?
Class president, I promise we will have ice cream every Friday.
Yes.
Soda in the water fountain.
Right, and then because I mean, if you look at the game, it's Warren said one thing, and then she left just enough room for Bernie to come in and one up her and say, "Nah, I'll fucking double."
But is his as comprehensive?
$1,000.
Well, hers is like tiers, right? It's like if you make this much, you pay this. If this much,
Exactly. So she says that she'll cancel $50,000 in student loan debt for anybody with an annual household income under 100 grand, and then she'll give substantial cancellation to those between 100 and 250,000, which will be paid for by a tax on wealthy families.
I like the idea of this. I think it's really cool because I know a lot of people, they get in huge debts just to learn something that they want. And I also like the idea of his proposal where it's a tax on Wall Street, where I think it was something about like a levy or something on every single stock traded. I used to trade stocks just fucking around. And then so with Scottrade, you already have to pay $7 a trade. So I'm like, oh, that's not a foreign concept. So if you could just add $1, and if there's thousands of trades happening a day, I think they're trying to say that like over a course of 10 years, you can amass trillions of dollars.
Wow.
And no one really gets hurt because it's just only $1 per trade or something. I don't know.
Well, I did read the opposite, the counter to that.
Yeah.
And what they were explaining is, so his whole point is like tax the speculative.
Yes.
There's other schools of thought. Some people are saying just tax all trading. And for him, it's tax the speculative side.
That's people who are basically speculating that a certain currency will rise or fall, and they're betting for or against it.
Betting, like if the currency goes and drops, or if this stock drops and I'm betting against it, it's like sports betting, right? It'll go up, and then you tax that. But then some people are just saying all stocks, just do that.
What's the other kind of stock?
Everything that we trade, every time there's a transaction, like there's gonna be a tax on that. And how that will hurt is, for example, let's say, they're proposing 0.25%, right? And then they did the math. It was like, let's say within $100,000, what is that? Like $250 or something, right? So you're a day trader, I'm a long-term investor, right? So that means we both pay the same tax. When you bought the stock, let's say you bought the stock that you're about to sell to me, you paid $250. I buy it from you, $250, it sits in my account for 10 years, and then every day you're trading stocks at like, 250, that all adds up.
Yeah.
So let's say your stocks go down, but you still owe all those transactions, and you made 10 transactions at $250.
Damn.
Say it to him, Joe. Say it to him. This is the man who wants to do this. So you're saying right now that you disagree?
No, I'm just saying that there's more to this than people blanket and try to like generalize.
It's not a good versus evil issue? Because I think it is. Here's my thing.
All right.
Okay. When Wall Street fucked up Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, the housing bubble, guess what we did? We printed a bunch of money.
Yeah, we bailed them out. Yeah.
And now everything's inflated. Yeah.
You're right. When the car dealerships fucked up, Ford, General Motors, we bailed them out. We fucking bought them. And then we sold the companies back to them for profit. Why the fuck can't we do the same shit for student loans, dude? Just print money, send the truckload, because we don't care about debt anyway. We fucking go up in debt every single day. We might as well just see how fucking stretched we can take this thing. Take it to the fucking limit. That's what I say.
So you're for it?
Well, here's what I'm against. How are we going to pay for all these wars we're doing in the Middle East if we're going to be bailing out the kids?
Well, there's a new tax initiative to fund this new initiative.
Right, because we just gave the military $1.5 trillion so we could keep on bombing people who don't even earn $20 a day.
Yeah.
Which I agree with. I think it's great.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So it's one of those things where I'm like, man, how, like, we can do all of that. We can pay for a fucking Trident missile that will not just destroy a place, but it drills a mile deep and then blows up all the bunkers underneath there.
God damn.
Right. And like a Jakarta missile, fucking $24 million. But then when it comes to something like this, we're all just like, yeah, I don't know.
Well, for me, is it just for his presidential term? Or is it something that is universal? Because I actually believe in universal education. And the reason for that is it just makes the society better.
Yeah.
We have too many fucking idiots in the States.
Yeah.
So if it's like Japan, right, where they focus hardcore on education and you teach like children from, ages first grade to third, how to become a member of society, and then everyone goes to, college, that's way freaking different. We have a lot of fucking poverty and dumbasses in the States. So we need to inject more funds. I believe in that. But is it just for his term? And what about all the other people in the past that paid for their loans?
Do they get reparations?
Yeah. It's like reparations, right? Like all of us, we paid for this shit.
Yeah, those people that like have $80,000 in debt right now would be dicked the most because they're like, what the fuck, just because I'm in the wrong generation?
What about the doctors and the pharmacists and everyone who just paid off their $200,000-$300,000 loans?
One of the things I really agree with his plan is that it doesn't allow the government to profit off of student loans, which is what's happening right now, which is insane.
I think at that point you have to like just get over it. Hypothetically, like if you just paid off your loans, that sucks.
Because society changes and moves anyways.
Yeah, it's like the people that are in jail for marijuana and now everyone's having dispensaries and it's legal. Like if you're on, that's awful, but I don't think when the goal is to cure the debt, you start thinking of paying off the people that paid off their debt.
But then you're adding to the debt by curing the debt. That's the counter argument, right? Is that there's a gigantic amount of debt that we're constantly accruing.
But isn't it for the tax in the future to pay off the debt?
Like they have this new Wall Street car wash that it's a new initiative to create money to pay that off, I guess. They're not pulling from the same pool of money.
The speculation market has no effect on the economy, is what it is. It's just gambling.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't do any benefits. So taxing that, it doesn't hurt the economy.
Right.
So people that are saying that it will, it's like, how? It doesn't make sense. I can see how taxing all stock trades can fuck it up.
Yeah, for sure.
And why are they picking out these groups or this group of like speculative?
Because it's high risk shit, like it's gamblers.
Yeah.
So,
It's
but
like-
I mean,
it's
but
like-
why them though?
Well, why tax smokers more every year? Like they kind of pick a group and they keep picking on them because
That sucks.
people don't care that much about them. Yeah, but when you say Wall Street, it already like turns 60% of the people against whatever you're talking about, right? Like you just have to say the words Wall Street and people are like, oh yeah, fuck those people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Even though a lot of people, their whole retirement is based on Wall Street. So it's one of those things where, dude, there are very much two sides to this coin. It's not just a one-way street.
That's a big misconception too, because a lot of people think Wall Street, they think the rich, right?
And the
but
day
the rich
traders
is like,
only.
yeah,
That's what they only
but
think,
that's
day
like
traders.
less than 20% of the rich. Majority of that is like us, like normal people, or like your parents and people that live like work in companies and they have a 401k. That's Wall Street.
That's correct.
And you want to tax that and hurt your own retirement? That doesn't make any sense to me.
But they don't put those two things together. They just go, well, this is Wall Street and fuck those guys. And now it feels so good to say fuck those guys. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like that. It's
But then does it really affect us though? Like I have a 401k, but I'm not, well, I guess I do trade, but I'm not like trading all the time. So
Yeah, it wouldn't affect you.
Yeah, okay.
So the long-term ones that you were talking about, Joe, that would be Geo.
Yeah, so it's not fair for the day traders, but those are the guys that
Yeah.
we get the stocks from. And those are the guys that keep it going. Volume, yeah. And that's a big part of our economy too. So I don't know, there's just so many layers to it that also another thing that they're saying is that once the universities know that they're injecting a fuck ton of money and it's government money,
They're gonna
increase their prices.
Yeah.
That's what's already happening.
Yeah.
Because the government insures all student loans.
Yeah, if you think about it, like the university prices are fucking expensive.
Yeah.
I saw a comparison of the 80s and now, and even if you adjust for inflation and all that, I think one semester was $900.
900?
Everyone was able to pay for this stuff. So
I remember $2 or $3 grand for me was like cool. I could get books, I could pay my tuition, and it was all right.
and that's a university price. That's Cal State LA.
Yeah.
So
Even for my tech school stuff, like when I was going, I think it was the program I was in, it was like $12,000 for the whole thing. It was like 9 months or something. And then 4 years later, I find out from the students that are coming into the hospital to intern, I asked them like, how much is the program now? And they were like, it doubled. It's 24,000.
24,000?
That was just 4 years after I did mine. So I could only imagine how much it costs now.
For 4 years?
No, I'm saying like
Just
after-
4 years later.
4 years later, yeah.
Did you have to pull a student loan to pay the
I did.
9,000?
I was that broke. Yeah.
And you know what? A lot of these loans too now, they're like regular personal loans. They start immediately when you take it out.
Oh,
when back in the day, most of the student loans,
Once you graduate.
it does. Yeah, they don't.
Damn, that's
yeah.
how they are now? Because mine was once I graduated.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I'm saying, like, today,
Damn.
everyone's fucked. Because that's how people are graduating college with, like, a dance degree with $100,000 in debt.
Oh.
Because it all interest just piled on.
Then they'll never pay it off. They're only dancing.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
And that's one of the arguments, right? One of the arguments against all this stuff is like, okay, well, why not just also
get it.
cover people's rent? Why not cover people's like mortgages? Why not?
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot, right? And when we have, by the way, in the past. So there's a lot of context.